Hello friends, today we are going to do a very easy exercise as to how to do continuous deployment to Azure App Service using GitHub Actions, and I'm going to consider an ASP.NET application to begin with, and my next video will be an Angular application. So let's get started. So before that, before I go to the code, I'm going to ensure that I have an Azure App Service which basically will be using for deployment. So I'll go ahead and create one Azure App Service, create app service. I'll use Contoso group. Runtime stack, ASP.NET. I could actually use the GitHub Actions deployment here, but I have not yet set up my code. So I'll do that later after the app service is created, and I will leave the default settings. I don't want to invest in application insights. I want to keep my cost uh, low. So when we do a demo on application insights, we will actually go ahead and create and see how the logs work. But at the moment, the focus is on the Azure App Service. Okay, so the resource is created. All right. So now we need an ASP.NET source code to be able to deploy to this, right? So let's go to Visual Studio. I have 2019. I could have installed a 2022. So I'll create a new project, ASP.NET Web Application, Contoso.NET sample. Okay, 4.7.1, this is the latest that I have here. We could do an MVC app. So I'm going to create a Git repository. Let it be Contoso.NET sample. I'm going to create and push. So I have synchronized this particular thing. It's successfully synchronized. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is basically go back to my Azure App Service. Okay. Here, let's go to Deployment Center. Select source code, GitHub. I'd already signed in here, so it's basically remembers that. I'm going to select my organization. Contoso.NET sample, if you see, this is the one which we had uploaded, and it's in the master branch. Okay, so it's going to create, basically, if you see, a YAML file, which is nothing but the step of list of steps that needs to be done to build the application and as well as deploy the application. It kind of adds a publishing profile here. So I'll save it. So let's actually go to our GitHub portal. If you see my repositories, Contoso.NET sample, and if you go to actions here, we'll see that there is one action which got added, and this is basically the one which is building and deploying it. Yeah, if you go inside the build, it's going to see what are the different steps it is taken to uh, build the application. So it's now restoring the nugget packages. Now it's going to do the deploy. If you see here, it's a package deployment using zip deploy. It's very important. Zip package deployment using zip deploy is a very important concept. Okay, so this deploy is completed. If I go to my application and browse, yeah, why is it called continuous deployment, by the way? Because let's say I go to a view, I'll open a index.html. I'll say continuous deployment. So continuous integration, continuous deployment. So I will basically commit these changes, commit all and push. Okay. So I have created a push directly to the master branch. Yeah, I think the pipeline was there. So we need to pull and push. Now if I go back to the GitHub and let me see the GitHub actions, you will see that one more workflow is triggered automatically. If you see, this is queued. So if I go inside this merge branch, I will see that it's doing the same build and release. If I go back to the application and refresh this, the index.html should have a different label here. Yep. So this is how we have learned how to do the continuous integration and continuous deployment with GitHub Actions for a ASP.NET application. There are a few interesting concepts here, like what is a zip deployment and how is the connectivity between the GitHub and the Azure App Service established. So look out for my next videos, and if you like my videos, please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.